Hi friends, it's Kristi. Welcome to another video. Today I have a what I eat in a day video for you. It's been a little bit since I've put one of these out, so I thought I would go ahead and share my day with you today. I actually have a day off in the middle of the week this week from work, so I figured this would be a great day to take you along and show you my day of eating on days that I don't work. So if you're new here on my channel, I do share the Weight Watcher points. I also share calories and some of the macros as well. I have actually been eating a little bit different. I am no longer eating 3 meals a day plus 2 snacks like I was doing before. I am insulin resistant, and so I have really found that it works best for me to do some intermittent fasting. So that's really what I've been trying to do. I try not to eat late at night anymore, and then I usually fast until probably around noon. And I love it. It works for me. It makes me feel good. I don't feel as bloated. But I will say that you have to do what's right for you. So I know for some people, fasting is not good, doesn't work for them. Just do what works for you. I'm not saying that I'm going to be doing intermittent fasting forever, but it's working for me right now. So I typically really only eat 2 meals a day. And then I'm able to add things in like butter, different things. I can kind of add a little bit more points and calories per meal since I'm only having the 2 meals. One thing that took me a little bit to adjust to is drinking my coffee. Don't you love my mug? Thou shalt not try me. Mood 24/7. One thing that was an adjustment for me is in order to stay in a fast, I needed to switch to drink my coffee black. So I always typically either use cream or half and half or regular creamer in my coffee. So this was one of the things that was probably the hardest for me, was switching to black coffee. Honestly though, at this point, I actually have learned to really enjoy it. I have found that if I get really cheap coffee though, it doesn't taste as good as the better quality coffee. So I usually end up doing 2 cups of coffee a day. I start my day with water though. I always try to drink water first. I usually don't drink my coffee until I get to work, but since I'm home today, I woke up this morning, had some water, and then had 2 cups of coffee. So I'm just having my basic kind of breakfast brunch today. I'm just going to have it very simple, just making some eggs. I'm going to use a little bit of butter. I'm going to use some sourdough, some avocado. So I have actually been back to making my own sourdough bread, but I am all out of it. I made a loaf last weekend and I only made 1 loaf, so it didn't last. So when I'm all out of my sourdough, this is the one that I use. It's just one I get from Aldi, everything sourdough. So I have 2 slices here. They're actually the smaller ones. It's 55 grams, so that's 3 points on Weight Watchers. I'm going to get those toasted, and then I have some eggs here. I get my eggs from Aldi as well. So I'm going to have 3 eggs, and then I've got avocado. I don't know how much of that I'm going to have. We'll see what it comes up to. So I'll have that. I do have in my pan, I've got some butter. I just really prefer the flavor of butter with my eggs, so that's what I've been using. And I use this kind of butter that I get from Aldi. Again, I typically get all my food from Aldi. And I have 6 grams of butter in there, which is only 2 points on Weight Watchers. So I'm breaking down the Weight Watcher points, but once I get everything together, I'll share the calories of the meal and the macros as well. So now I'm going to do my avocado. I'm just going to weigh the whole thing. So it's 106 grams. And then I'll see what I end up with after. Alright, so I have 51 grams of avocado on here, so I'll just plug that into my Weight Watcher tracker and see how many points it is. So 51 grams is 2 points. I thought I was overcooking my eggs because on the bottom they kind of overcooked on one side, but this is perfect. Alright, my color looks off. It makes it look like the yolks look green. Hopefully they don't look that color to you. They are a nice bright yellow. I think I've got my color off. So I'll probably have some blueberries after. I'll let you know if I end up doing that. So this ended up being 7 points on Weight Watchers. It is 466 calories, and then my protein was a little bit low. I like to get about 30 grams of protein per serving. This was only 23, which is fine. I'll make up for it throughout the day. So I forgot to show I'm using some everything bagel seasoning as well. All right, I'm having a little snack, and this is a panino tray. I get these from Aldi. These are really good. I try not to eat stuff like this a whole lot, but today we're gonna have this. So I'm gonna have the salami ones. This comes with salami, prosciutto, and pepperoni. I'm gonna do the salami. It is 3 points for 2 of them. So let me show you what they look like. They're just little rolled up piece of mozzarella rolled up in salami. And so the salami is 3 points. When I scan this, it only gives me the points for the salami for some reason. But for the salami, it's 3 points, and then 120 calories for 2 of them. 8 grams of protein. For the pepperoni one is 130 calories. 8 grams of protein. For the prosciutto, 100 calories, 9 grams of protein. So I'm going to do 2 of the salami. All right, friends, it's time for dinner. Tonight, I'm going to be making a very easy sheet pan dinner. I saw this from, I don't know how you say her name, Fayette Noon 9. I will share her Instagram down below. She has some crazy good sheet pan recipes. She's got like mason jar salads, a lot of good stuff. So this one is a steak one. I'm actually going to be dicing up the steak. My husband told me I'm crazy because those are such good cuts. So we actually got 2 of those so that I can chop these up into kind of like cubes, and then he can do the other package on the grill. But these are the best New York strips. They're grass-fed and they're from Aldi, and they're really reasonably priced. So I've got 1.5 pounds of steak. I've got 8 ounces of mushrooms. I have a red onion, about 20 ounces of potatoes. I'm going to peel those, so it's actually going to be a little bit less than 20 ounces. I've got some parsley. We're going to be using some olive oil. I'm going to be using some of the Kinders, I don't even know how you say it, salt, pepper, and garlic blend, some chili powder, paprika, garlic powder, and green beans. So everything, if you're following Weight Watchers and you're not on the diabetic program, everything here except for the olive oil is 0 points. So I don't really, even when I make things like this, I really don't track much. I just kind of estimate the olive oil because it's such a low point meal. But it is calories, so keep that in mind. So if you're on the diabetic program, of course, you do have to count the points for your potatoes. This is probably going to make enough for 4 servings, 6 ounces of steak, and then 5 ounces of potato per serving. I've weighed out the vegetables just for purposes of calculating the calories and everything. And then I'll either come back and let you know what that is, or I'll pop it up on the screen. So really the only thing that takes time on this is cutting everything up. After that, you just pop it in the oven, 400 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes until everything's done. Okay, so I ended up using 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So now I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of paprika. I ended up just using some fresh parsley. I didn't have any dried parsley, so I just bought fresh. But if you have dried parsley, you could use like a tablespoon of dried parsley as well. And then we're going to do about a tablespoon of chili powder. And a tablespoon of garlic powder, which I'm probably going to use a little bit more. Anybody who knows me knows we love garlic. And then you can do just some salt and pepper to taste. I'm going to do this more garlic, salt, pepper, and garlic blend. Now I'm just going to give it all a little bit of a stir. I'm not going to stir it all together until afterwards. We're going to kind of make bowls out of this. So I'm just going to stir up the meat separate and then all the vegetables separate as well. Now that's going in a 400-degree oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. Oh, y'all, look at that. It looks so good. So I had it in for 30 minutes. I don't think I need to cook it any more than that. We actually prefer our steak to be medium, so this is going to be cooked a little bit more than we care, but I wanted to make sure the potatoes were cooked all the way through. This is done, honey. This is done.
It is?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh.
It's supposed to be enough servings for 4, but...
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'm going to eat a whole steak tonight.
And that is what it looks like. So I didn't mix this all up like I said I was going to. My husband said he preferred to have his all separate. So I'll let him take his and then I'll put mine into a bowl. So for Weight Watcher points, if you are not on diabetic program, this is 3 points. If you're on diabetic program, you have to count your potato. For calories, it's 483 calories and 46 grams of protein. And then if you're watching your carbs, this is a little higher in carbs because of the potatoes. It's a total of 44 grams of carbs, but 9 grams of fiber, so it's 35 grams of net carbs. All right, so I thought we'd only have 1 serving left because my husband had seconds, but we still have this much left. So it definitely, at first I looked at it and thought it really only makes 3 servings, but it definitely does make 4. All right, so here's what I had left. So I just went ahead and put it in meal prep containers, and now we've got a couple lunches or leftovers for dinner. All right, I am gonna end my night with a protein shake. So usually I use the Premier Protein, but Walmart didn't have any. My husband was there, so I just had him get these Equate. These are okay. They're not, I don't think they're as good, but I don't like to have these like on a daily basis, but when I'm a little bit low on my protein, then I'll usually have one of these. So it's 30 grams of protein for the shake, 160 calories. Come on, focus. 160 calories, 30 grams of protein, and 2 points on Weight Watchers. So I'm gonna end my night with some protein. All right, so here are my totals for the day. I actually ended up a little bit on the low side. I try not to get less than like 1,300 calories. Please keep in mind that I am less than 5 feet tall. I am only 4'11 and a half. So just keep that in mind that the amount of food that I need is completely different than the amount of food you need. So for Weight Watcher points, I only ended up with 15, which is, I'm fine with that because of the fact that a lot of the stuff I ate today was 0-point foods. So if I'm eating like a lot of whole foods, then I always keep that in mind when my Weight Watcher points are low. So 15 Weight Watcher points. I ended up with a little less than 1,300 calories at 1,280. I did hit my protein at 105 grams of protein. With that shake, that bumped it up a little bit. So I always try and shoot for right around 100, give or take. For total fats was 53. and total carbs was 88. Net carbs was only 71 because I had 17 grams of fiber today. So I try and keep my carbs under 100 just because I am insulin resistant. So again, a lower point day, but I feel extremely satisfied today. Because of the foods that I was eating, I wasn't really hungry a lot. As I always say though, please keep in mind that this is individually for me. So this is just meant as a guide and an idea. So make sure to consult your own nutritionist, doctor, whatever, for any eating plans and do what works for you. So I hope you enjoyed this What I Eat in a Day video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.